Hey everyone, and welcome to my 250th video for YouTube. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been that many already, but I counted a while back and I'm pretty sure that I'm accurate on that. But here it is, uh, having made 250 videos for YouTube. It may not be a huge channel, but it's not, it's not about that. It's about me putting out what I have to say to the rest of the world and just, doing what I do just because I want to. And but that being said, it's been, I guess, a little bit of a learning curve. I think that the production value and the kind of products that I've put out have gotten a lot better since I started. That um, I've tried to provide a good variety of content and trying to push myself to do some things that previously I either just avoided doing or didn't know how. And it's like now I have all kinds of talents that I can employ, which are helping me in other areas. So I mean, it's all progress and it's all headed in the right direction. So here's to another 250. But it's I guess a good thing that it falls upon this particular video because. Um, as you guys know, we are planning on attending the Star Trek 56-year mission in Vegas. Um, and give you a little background. It's the annual Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, which up until I guess a couple years ago it was the officially recognized licensed Star Trek convention by CBS. And I don't know why the contract didn't get renewed, but anyway, I mean, having gone back last year, it was still pretty much the same convention. It's just the only thing that really changed is that you couldn't use the name Star Trek anywhere. There pictures on the websites where they're acting headshots instead of their Star Trek characters, things like that. And I mean, there are some other tangible differences, like when it was licensed, they could have official Star Trek props there, and there were a few other pluses and minuses. But I mean, having been to Star Trek Las Vegas a couple of times so far, this will be our third. It's really a fun convention. It's very well run. It's extremely efficient. It's a great opportunity to get to meet some of the actors on Star Trek that I've admired and enjoyed their work for years, and just even if it's just a couple of seconds to just say hello and tell them how much they mean to all of us. It really, for me anyway, it means a lot, and it's something that I think I'm going to keep continuing to do as long as I have the ability to do it. I know that Shrag probably isn't, even though Shrag has been a lifelong Star Trek fan as well, he's probably not as obsessed with it as I am. But it's one of those things that now that I've gotten a taste of it, I kind of need to keep doing, because my goal is to hopefully get a picture and an autograph with every Star Trek actor that I can. And while it would have been easier if I started a few years ago, I mean, you can't change the past. It's like I wish I'd thought to do this 10 years ago, but who knows what the situation would have been then and all that other jazz. But all I can do is just what I can do. But I mean, last year was the con held during the pandemic, which was complicated to say the least, because they had required vaccinations, which I agreed with, and required masking, and some of the photos had masks in them, which didn't thrill me. But I am trying to, I've just come to look at it in a positive way. It's like I respect everybody's decisions to protect themselves, and at the time it was a smart idea. But I would eventually like to get a photo of all of us unobstructed. But I'll do it as many times as it takes in order to get to that point. Hopefully at some point we will be at that stage again, maybe this year, because there's a couple I'm trying to redo. Some for the mask issue, and some mostly just because the last time I did some of these photos was before I transitioned, so I'd like to get some updated photos with Lauren, so. But, whatever the reason, even if I had what I wanted, I might just do it again just because it's a rare opportunity. And yeah, it's an expensive convention. I mean, the money I put down for this trip every time I've gone has been a staggering amount of money. But, at least for me anyway, it's worth it. And of course we all have our things. This is one of mine. Star Trek is one of the things that has long drained my finances for one reason or another, but I do it happily because it makes me happy. So there's that. But let's see, to talk a little bit about the convention itself. It's held traditionally in the Rio, which this year I think it's because the hotel switched owners and they wanted to make some renovations to bring it more in line with their brand. They shifted the location of the convention this year to Ballys, which I've never been there, but supposedly it has some comparable facilities. And part of me kind of hopes that they go back to the Rio after this renovation is completed, just because. And I told Strag this when I went back to Las Vegas in 2021 after 2 years away, once by my own choice and once by COVID causing the convention to be canceled. It felt like coming home. I really liked it. It felt good to be back in that setting, to know exactly how the con ran, to know exactly where everything was. It's like I didn't have to look anything up the second time at all. I mean, I'm still amazed I was able to navigate the con the first time that well. But still, I'm looking forward to the 56-year mission with the new hotel. And, if they go back to the 5-day structure, if they go back to the old hotel, hey, great. If they don't, that's okay too. I mean, I'm going to keep going. But let's see, the 56-year mission right now is a 4-day convention, which I assume they'll do the preview night on Wednesday, like they usually have done traditionally on Tuesdays, and give you a chance to wander through the dealer's room, pick up some photos and a few other things, and just kind of reconnoiter the con. And it's let's see. I guess as far as the 56-year mission itself, I have a good list of things to talk about, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be our third convention. I'm still trying to get Sienna and Scully to join us, and possibly Brianna. And it's all tricky. I mean, most of it, I think, involves money and a few other issues that have kind of gotten in the way of that thing. And I can't say that it's not an expensive con. It's like minimum. It's at least $1,200. I would think you would need to do this con right. And ideally, if you want to do everything you want, it can be a lot more than that, which I can speak to from experience. However, I should also mention that in 2 days of, no wait, 4 days of filming this, I will be going in for my biannual hair rebluing. As you can tell right now, it's kind of faded, but usually I try and make sure that it's nice and bright for the convention because, these are photos that I intend to treasure for years, so I like to make sure I look good. And, I'm picking out what clothes I want to wear because I'm trying not to duplicate any of the stuff I wore last year, because we get a lot of photos, and I want to try and make sure that they're not all like the same outfit. I don't know if I'm going to cosplay this year. I brought my uniform last time, but I really didn't think I looked all that feminine in it, and I kind of think I might just bring it just in case I change my mind, but I don't think I'm going to wear it for any of the pictures, but we'll see. Drag might, and if so, that's all well and good. But let's see. As far as Bally's, it's like I can tell you, like I've mentioned, that it's a hotel I've never been in before, but it's nearby, and it's I'm looking forward to it. It's supposed to be a really nice casino. I've seen some walkthroughs for it, and I think I have a general understanding of the layout. So I think it should be relatively easy to navigate into. But it's another reason why I advocated getting there a day early, as per the usual con, even if they weren't actually doing the whole extra day, the 5-day plan like they usually do, just so that we would have time to acclimate, to wander around the con, and maybe have a day to just do whatever we wanted to do during the day. And I guess that's about it for that. The preparations, those of you who, well, I mean, most of you probably wouldn't know, but the preparations for this con, for me anyway, usually begin somewhere around the beginning of the year. It's like I plan to go. I usually try and get cohorts to come with me. So far, it's only been Strag, but I'm hoping to eventually get some other folks to come with me. Because I would really like to take certain people to 56-year mission or whatever the iteration is that year, and possibly Mission Seattle, which I'm debating going. Strag doesn't seem interested in doing 2 Star Trek cons a year, and I can't say that I blame him, but I kind of am. And we'll find out if that's feasible, or if I can do that, or what goes on with that. But as far as preparations, like I usually start selecting guests and making preparations 6 months in advance, 8 months in advance in this case, because it's just it makes it easier financially to spread it out over the course of several months. And also, it's this kind of requires a lot of logistics. It's like, unlike some conventions, I mean, this con doesn't publish its schedule until like about a week before the con. Sometimes I think just a couple of days before, just because there's so many balls in the air. It's like guests can cancel, events can change, and they usually don't print the schedule physically or electronically until they more or less know, or at least I guess till they reach the point of no return where they have to print it in order to get it back from the printers in time. But that being said, I usually have a pretty good plan. I try and look at the information they publish on the website when they know, and also make plans, like I said, financially for. I usually bring a good budget. I'll talk about that next. But you have to plan like money. You have to have the hotel. You have to kind of have everything sort of lined up significantly in advance for all of this to come together in an ideal fashion, and it takes a lot of planning. I mean, and usually for me, the con doesn't end until like a few weeks after because I'm still doing work related to the con for us and for uh, ancillary things that can only be done after the convention. Um, obviously like the con report and the framing project, which I'll also talk about a bit. And it's like, as far as my budget, I have most of the money set aside for the convention. I think I need to still reserve a small amount of money for gambling and some money for food. And usually, just to give you an idea, it's usually at least, I think, uh, probably $100 for gambling, usually about 150 for food. And note that I also split some of the food budget with my partner, and spending money on top of what I usually already pre-allocate. Usually, it's a pretty hefty amount. The first time I ever went to Star Trek Las Vegas, I hit the ATM twice while I was there, and I'm lucky I didn't hit it for any more because I think my budget was actually, my balance was pretty low at that point. But still, it was worth it. It was worth it. Although I wish I'd made some other elections as well, but can't. you know, that's in the history books. But insofar as cosplay, like I said, I don't think I'm going to probably wear my uniform this year. Might take it anyway, but I had hoped to potentially have a couple of other options this year as well, but I just don't think that in the time frame I have that it's going to be doable. And also, I found an issue that seems to be the case with a lot of the Chinese manufacturers that make the Star Trek uniforms, because for some reason they kind of have, like, I guess, relatively thin necks on their uniforms, and I and my partner kind of require larger necks. Um, as a result, it was tricky trying to, because I attempted to get him one sometime during the fall. Um, it's tricky to get them to do custom measurements because they'll do custom measurements, but for some reason the neck isn't one of those options, and it's just been difficult. Plus, the official Star Trek uniforms, the ones that are licensed, it's tough to get those because the ones that they sell, for some reason, for women, they don't go any higher than medium, which I think is a little ridiculous. And also, they have limited options just because at some point they gave the license for high-end replicas to Anovos, which apparently didn't produce a lot of the merchandise that they sold, kept taking orders, fell into a big hole, and then disappeared and just left us all hanging in the bag. I still am out several $100s from a phaser replica that I ordered from them that I probably will never see, nor be able to recover the money from because it's been too long, and also because I don't even know where that would come from at this point, with the company supposedly not existing anymore, which is disappointing. But anyway, as far as I'm hoping that this year that we can see some interesting cosplays, because usually they have some really good costumers there. And I recall the first year there were a couple of Maresses and a couple of Borg and a few other ones that were really worth noting. And let's see, I guess the only other thing to talk about, two other things, I guess. framing project. It's like after I come back from the convention, I have a lot of autographs and pictures with the actors that, of course, requires time to carefully frame and hang up places, and that usually takes a couple of weeks after the convention. I'll probably do a couple every now and then, and it's usually fun, but I mean it's like the after action part of the con where I have to get all the pictures in a nice display, and I've already started purchasing materials for it. I just placed my first order for 10 frames, 10 mats, and some mats on the back to keep them from sliding up and down, because some of the pictures, while they hold for a while, they start moving around. I don't like to use tape because supposedly tape can potentially damage the images or something. And that being said, a little bit of pressure from a mat in front and a mat in back, acid-free, of course, if you're so inclined, protects the frames. And let's see. I guess the last things to mention is, of course, I will be doing an annual con report for this convention after we come back. Once I have some footage and some other things, comments to make as far as how it went, and my overall impressions, and so on and so forth. And I'm looking forward to that. I guess that's it for now, and I will catch you all later.
If you like werewolves, check out my book Blue Moon, available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. Catch you later.